You can do all the memory work that you have to do. You can do all the study. And the thing is that you can achieve it and be sad. There are doctors who commit suicide because they're depressed being doctors.
That's true.
You know, so I think it's important, you know. And sometimes we mock at these things and we make it. Look, we've created an academic system in Ghana that says doctors, the creme de la creme of students become doctors, right? But what we don't realize is that the fact that you're academically brilliant doesn't necessarily mean that you're boxed into 3-4 different categories of professions. No, you could be a super, you know, academic and go in and become a teacher. You know, and become a really brilliant teacher. You see, so I think that we need to reassess some of these things as a people, you know, and then have that mindset change. I don't know whether it to be top down or bottom up. I'm not sure which one it was.
Definitely top down. From parents down to the children. Well, guys, we want to hear from you. What dreams and aspirations did you have as a kid? Did you want to be a pilot? Did you want to be a soldier? What role did your parents play in that? You know, did they say, go on, great, you can be whatever you want to be? Or they were like, no, you're not going to be a broke adult. Let us hear those stories. If you're on Facebook, just comment down below. If you're on other social media platforms, the hashtag is Breakfast Daily. If you want to reach us directly, our subline is 05505858332. I think I mean, this generation is just different. You know? I
think to be fair to all of our parents, to be very fair to them, the reason why many of them wanted us to do certain safe jobs was because they wanted to make sure that we're protected in the future. You know, it's a safe job. You see, so if you get into one of those safe jobs, then at least they know
that you're fine.
That you're fine. You'll be okay. You know, whatever happens, you've got your job, you get your pay, you'll be fine. You know.
And I also think as children, really, you can start off with a safe job. You may fall in love with that safe job eventually, or you can leave. But I do think you shouldn't be so radical and say, I'm just gonna do it my way. There's an element of truth to whatever it is that they are trying to nurture you into. So
I agree.
You might end up liking it. But guys, hello, Mr. President. Okay, if you have any problems in your communities, lots and lots of issues. People have no electricity. Their children are expected to study and be globally competitive. Some people don't have clean water, deliberately drinking dirty water just because, you know, they don't have access to clean water. And sometimes you feel as though we are not coming to you. We are not seeing what you're experiencing. This is an opportunity for you to just take out your phone and record just a 1-minute video. It doesn't have to be a professional video. Send those videos to us so that every Wednesday at 9:30, we'll show the entire country and the world what exactly is happening within your community. And of course, we will call those policymakers who are supposed to answer to those problems so that they solve them for you. So the email to send the videos to is hello@gmail.com. And of course, our WhatsApp line is 0550-585832. We need to get to a point where we all actively participate in our development. We can't just vote people into power and say we hope they are going to do it, because we know that most of the time they focus on their own self-interest and they don't focus on serving us and our needs. So the email to use again is hello@gmail.com, and the WhatsApp line is 0550-585832.
Yeah. And Keyboard Idol. So Keyboard Idol shows every Saturday at 7 p.m. And it's absolutely a fantastic show for us to engage in. There you can see these are the kids that made it to the top 20. And so we're going through a process. Last week, Saturday, we showed you the first part of the auditions that they are vying for the top 10. This weekend, we're going to show you the second part of the audition for those that are vying for the top 10 again. And the next week after that, the next week after that, we are going to then show you those that actually made it to the top 10 finally. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, yesterday you went on an adventure.
Yes.
What happened?
Well, we're talking about, communities and people doing what it is that they love and follow your passion and so on. We were down in Adabraka at a dreadlock salon.
Nice.
A dreadlock salon. And a fantastic gentleman over there, I want to share with the viewers what it is that we experienced with them. Let's take a look. So we're here at the Mikesh Salon in Adabraka. This Rasta Salon, and it's amazing all the gentlemen who are here, and they do the braids, locks. I'm going to talk to him here right now and find out exactly what it is that he is doing, how long they've been in business, and so on and so forth. So, good morning to you, sir. William.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
All right. So, what is it that you're doing right now?
I'm doing dreadlocks.
Okay. Now, just give us a little bit of history. How long have you been doing this for?
Yeah, I've been doing this for over 8 years now.
8 years?
Yeah.
Wow. So, okay, so are you Rastafarian yourself?
Oh, not really. I'm not a Rastafarian. I'm a loctician.
A loctician?
Yeah.
Okay, who's a loctician?
Loctician. Loctician is who take care of dreadlocks and natural hair.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, would I be accurate in saying that locticians take care of Rastafarians?
No.
Or not necessarily so?
No.
Explain to us how they are related. If they're even related.
Yeah, they are related. But the job especially is dreadlocks.
Okay.
It's not Rasta.
Okay.
It's dreadlocks.
Okay.
And the loctician is who treats the locks and natural hair. Yeah.
Okay.
The starting of dreadlocks, a lot of people thought is something bad. Especially the only thing they know is we the one that we have dreadlocks, we are smokers and whatever, or we are bad guys or whatever. They always think negative for us.
But it's not true?
But it's not true.
Okay.
Yeah, and then what we are trying to do is, we, the locticians, we are trying to let the Ghanaians know that the natural hair is the best for we, the blacks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I like the idea.
Yeah.
So natural hair, as in, let's get creative, let's do all kinds of interesting things with our hair.
Yeah.
What's this one called in particular?
This one particular called dreadlocks.
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 So, but this looks a little different. So, from what I naturally traditionally know as dreadlocks, is this how it begins?
Yeah, it's different because with dreadlocks, you need to visit salon at least once in a month for you to keep it. For you to keep it neat.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what exactly are you doing here?
What I'm doing is I just finished doing the relocking.
Okay.
So this is the style I'm doing.
What is relocking?
Relocking is after we treat your hair, and you go house and you came back like 2-3 weeks later. The root will grow.
Okay.
Then we relock it.
Okay.
That's what we call relocking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so how long does it normally take to do this whole process with this hair?
It depends how the work is. At times it takes 2 hours, 3 hours, 1 hour. It depends how the job is.
So somebody's watching, they don't understand
what I'm doing.
Yes, exactly. So if you can explain to us, somebody is going to come to you and says, okay, you know what, I've seen this natural hair thing, I think I want to also get my hair done. How long will it take for their hair to be done? You said it depends on the work.
Yeah.
But like how, in what way? Does the length of their hair matter?
No, it depends how the work. Some the work, some they keep long before they visit the salon.
Oh,
that one take time.
So there's a lot more to do with the hair.
There's more to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you say locking the hair,
yeah,
what does it mean to lock hair?
Locking is locking the hair. First of all, you need to have afro hair.
Okay.
Yeah. Then after the afro hair, that's what I say. That's what I call dreadlocks.
Okay.
So after having the afro hair, the moment you visit here, then we let you know we have permanent and non-permanent.
Okay.
And the permanent one is the dreadlocks.
Okay.
So if you're ready for the permanent one, then we take you go through.
Okay. So when you say permanent, non-permanent, why do people choose, one as a preference over another?
So the one that you choose, the customer you choose, that's what we do for you.
Okay. So what is this? Is this permanent?
This is permanent.
This is permanent.
Yeah.
Okay. How can I tell that it's permanent? What is it about it?
With the non-permanent one, that one you can use it for just a month. That one you can take it off. But with the permanent one, that one you keep it for
forever.
Life. Yes.
I see.
Yeah.
So is there any way of distinguishing? Like I see two people who have
permanent and non-permanent one.
Yes. How can I tell that this one is not permanent?
How can you tell?
Or it's a specialist thing?
No. Okay. You ask again. That's the question.
Okay.
Again.
So I'm saying that I see my brother here, right?
Yeah.
And his is permanent.
Yeah.
But I don't know that.
You don't know
how can I tell from looking at his hair that this one is permanent?
No, before you tell, then you need a optician to have to explain it to you.
So it's a professional thing.
Yeah.
It's an expert thing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. How is business?
Well, the business is good.
Yeah. So a lot of people come here.
Yeah. A lot of people come.
Where do you find people coming from? Do people come from within your community, or they come from beyond your community as well?
No, they come beyond our community.
So that was Mikesh Salon, and I think it's so brilliant what they're doing. They're not only, nurturing dreadlocks, they also have their own product line. They also create spaces for other entrepreneurs to sell words of encouragement. So we saw a lot of things in that salon, and I just think it was beautiful.
Yeah. No, I mean it's a high energy space. You know, everybody seems to be so positive in there, and they're doing their own thing. And I like the part of the conversation that we had, and we're talking about people. There was one quote on the wall, and he made reference to it. He said, "People think that we are rascals or no people, we are up to no good. You see somebody with dreadlocks and you assume that these guys are smokers or whatever, but it's not always the case that it follows that trend. There are people who do really amazing things, who are progressing, they're impacting lives and all of that. They choose that to wear dreadlocks, and they like it, they love it, they keep it really well. To see all of that happening in a space like that, and I was just
fascinated
with it.
And people travel from all over to
come
their place
to
get their hair done. And I'm thinking, if they didn't exist, where would all these people go to get their hair done?
No, it was an inspirational experience for me. To see that young men like that. You can in the different their Instagram page, Mikesh Crown 1. That's what it's called, the Instagram page, and they have all these images there on their Instagram page of the different styles that they do. So, I mean, I'm sure viewers are watching, and some of them are interested and so on. So, Mikesh Salon is situated within Adabraka, so you can find them and also get your own sorted out.
Yeah, and I think we should all use this as an inspiration. Remember, we started out the show talking about the world needing people who have come alive, right? So 10, 20 years ago, people probably didn't know where to go to get their dreadlocks done. But these guys found a space for themselves, and they specialized in that, and they've done so well that people keep coming back to them. So I want us to use this story as an inspiration. Use this to start a conversation with your family members, with your children. Ask, what do you want to be? If they say they want to be a painter, they want to be a dancer, they want to be a beautician, then you go in further to find out how to expose them to it, because before you know it, they may be the best of their kind in the entire world. And you don't want to deprive them of that destiny just because you don't see what's ahead and you don't see what they can conquer. Maybe the path they are going to walk on has not yet been created. They are the ones that are going to create it, right? And the role you play in it is just believing in them and having confidence in them and not doubting what God has already ordained in their lives. And then they get to share all their gifts and talents with the world.
It's amazing. You know, there was a time when if you said to your parents you wanted to be a football player, it was, you know, soccer player, it was anathema. You don't come up with such suggestions. You know, it's like, what happened to you? You know, how come you have these strange and weird ideas? But these days, you say you want to be a footballer, you know, as long as they see some skill, they're like, you know what, let's nurture this, because they can tell. And again, it's about the whole security thing, you know, and now they've realized that people have made millions by getting into football, you know. So even Dan's God Lloyd made reference to that, you know, when he mentioned to his parents that he was going to he wants to be a footballer. They encouraged him wholeheartedly. Then he said he wanted to be a dancer, and they were like, what's
we don't know
about
this.
You know, but I think it's the same. It comes back to the same issue of pursuing your passion. I think the basic disciplines are important. We all need to go through the basic disciplines of schooling and getting our certificates and degrees and so on. But then we also have to have the space to pursue our passions.
Definitely.
And that's what Mikesh is doing. This is fantastic.
Now I have a packed show for you guys today. Dr. Kelvin Owusu will be joining us later to talk to us about maskne.
Maskne is a very interesting thing.
Has to do with the acne you get from wearing a mask. A lot of people I've seen have started getting acne just because they have the mask on for so long. And I think, I don't know if it's breeding some sort of bacteria.
I'm sure it is.
What's happening?
I'm sure it is. Acne is from bacteria, so
it's probably that's what's happening. So he'll come to tell us more about it. You know, so if you guys have any questions for him, this is an opportunity for you to send those questions to us. Use the hashtag BreakfastDaily and the WhatsApp line 0550585832, and I'll ask him on your behalf. I can already see people asking what kinds of products they should be using. You know, locally made products that they can leverage on to get rid of the acne. And then later on, we're going to premiere.
Yes, we're premiering a video which was done by Africa Eye and Anas, and basically exposing the PPE debacle, you know, within the sector. Since COVID-19 started, a whole lot of things have gone on, and people are selling PPEs that should be, you know, distributed widely and freely for people to use and so on. So the expose, we're going to watch that this morning.
I can't wait.
And we'll have some conversations around that once we're done.
And we'll also have a conversation with Anas.
Yes.
I heard Anas himself.
I wanted to hide that a little bit so people watch that and then surprised to see Anas on.
Oh no! I mean, they should. I mean, they might have questions for him. So this is a great way for us to be the people to carry those questions to Anas. Like, okay, post the viewing. These are the things we've noticed. These are the feedback we may have for you. I think he did one on sale of drugs a couple of months ago, and I found it interesting that people were making up all sorts of things and saying that they will cure coronavirus. You know, and beyond the people selling the drugs, I was surprised that people actually believed these salespeople that if you take this drug, it can actually cure coronavirus. So is it lack of education? Is it that
I think it's a mix of things,
easily influenced?
Desperation. We are so much seeking for an answer, you know, so we believe anything that sounds plausible, you know, and all that. So it's all of that. But the documentary will be interesting, definitely. And we'll encourage all of you to get everybody who is around you, you know somebody, get them, tell them. If you're watching by DSTV, channel 363, otherwise tune into Citi TV. We're also on Facebook, on YouTube. Just take a look. when did we start the premiere again? I think it's 9:30.
9:20.
9:20.
Cashing in on COVID.
Yeah. So 9:20. Don't miss it. We're going to be premiering that live here on Breakfast Daily.
Now again, guys, it is an interactive show. So if you're watching us on Facebook, just comment down below. If you want to reach us directly, the hashtag is Breakfast Daily and the WhatsApp line is 0550585832. If you're outside Ghana, you can still join the conversation with the country code +233. We are live on Facebook, we are live on Twitter, we are live on YouTube. So go there and share the content with your friends. I've received some messages, so I'll read them briefly. Akinla Gladys says, good morning. And we have another one here from Samson. He says, I'm enjoying the show so much, guys. I can't wait to watch Anas's premiere. Now, keep those messages coming. The hashtag again is Breakfast Daily, and the WhatsApp line is 0550585832. And pretty soon you'll be doing the news review.
Yeah. There's a lot going on in the news. Of course, it's political season.
Yeah.
So, Dziffa, you can very well imagine the former president has been making a lot of promises, you know, and some people have decided to dig into him, and say, well, this is what you said a few years ago, and now you're saying this, and there's quite a number of them coming out now where he said things which seem very much opposite of what he's saying now. So it's going to be a very interesting newspaper review. Of course, the dismissed students, the WAEC has made certain concession and said that they'll permit them to write their papers, but that's the only concession that they're giving them. They are still dismissed. Their results will be withheld.
Good.
So until they've done their time, because it's absolutely. I think that we need to develop a culture where people have more self-respect, enough to do the right thing without necessarily having a watchman over them, to do the right things. Like, if you're watching me, then I'll do the right thing. But once nobody's looking, let me do what I want. And then this whole riotous mindset.
No, I mean, the audacity of these students.
Yeah.
It's one thing to say I'm rioting because you've done something wrong. It's different if the school was,
had done something
preventing
wrong.
you from doing something. They're taking away your basic human rights. Then I don't have a problem with you coming together to say, no, we're standing up against this person or this institution. But you're supposed to study.
Yes.
It's an examination.
Yes.
There's absolutely no excuse.
And you've had years to study, by the way.
That's my point. There's no excuse for you to be so lazy and dumb that you would want to harm an adult because of your own inadequacies. And if these are the future generation, then we're doomed. So I agree with the people who don't, agree with what the president did. I think that we should have made a very strong example out of all of them so that any student who would even think about entertaining that idea would know that this would taint you for life. And sometimes they do these things and they record it. And they don't understand that will stick with you forever. If you're going to look for a job in future,
they'll say, this
people
is the guy
will reference
who did
that video. No matter what you do, it will follow you for life. So I think that's the worst possible punishment they can face. The fact that they've brought it upon themselves and it will stay with them for the rest of their lives. They have to live with that.
And I mean, for them being dismissed, I mean, honestly, I hope that everybody takes note, students in particular, take note that you will be dismissed. And next time, maybe you will definitely not be allowed to write exams at all, which means you're done. It's a serious thing. It's not a joke. There's nothing, And I saw the video where the one who insulted the president came to apologize and everything. I'm asking myself, really? I mean, and after that, what? It's almost like you were caught with your hand in the cookie jar, and so now you're sorry. It wasn't me. It wasn't my fault. Something came over me. All those things excuses that we make and all of that. But I mean, I think that it's important that we send a very, very strong signal that we will not tolerate such behavior.
Thank you guys so much for staying with us. This is Breakfast Daily on Citi TV. We have a lot in store for you. My name is Dziffa, Ametam.
And I'm David Sakyi.
Don't go anywhere. News reviews next. We will be right back.
There is nothing as hard as a diamond. For buildings with superior strength that withstand all weather conditions, Diamond Cement should be your preferred choice. Locate Diamond Cement nationwide with factories in Aflao, Takrady and Bupe. Diamond Cement, as hard as a diamond.
We're about to change your Sunday night for the better.
Prophecy is not for useless things and loose, frivolous things. Prophecy is for weightier matters.
We'll bring you the most captivating guests and explore the most amazing stories. Your way to stardom was really planned.
Calculated, it was falling in place.
I wanted like a specific future for myself. First, I'm gonna gain my popularity. Second, help must come from it. The life became upside down like this.
You know it. We will dazzle you with real life situations and examine mind-blowing topics.
Babylon says he can pay me. I want to show him cash. Good one.
So is that what it's about?
Oh yes, I'll prove to this guy. Cash. Draw your swords. Deuteronomy 8:3. Charge.
Join me, Frema Dunyame.
And me, Atukwamna, every Sunday at 7 p.m. on Citi TV. Are you ready?
Upside Down, every Sunday, 7 p.m. only on Citi TV.
Welcome back. It's time for us to do the news review. This morning is going to be very exciting. My guests are already seated. I'm going to go through the headlines and the dailies that we have. I'll do some online stories. I'll come back and introduce the guests to you, and then we'll have a conversation. This morning is going to be fascinating. We will be talking about the dismissed WASI candidates and the ramifications of all of that. We're going to be talking election 2020. And then we'll be finally talking about the financial sector cleanup. All right, so on the front page of the Daily Graphic, we have Conquer the World with Ideas. President tasks presidential pitch winners. 10 winners receive 1 million Ghana cedis. First Atlantic Bank launches Silver Jubilee. Abhor acrimonious politics. Catholic bishops entreat. Dismissed students pardoned to write exam. On the front page of the Ghanaian Times, President presents 100,000 to presidential pitch third season winner. Beirut airport explosion. 350 Ghanaians head home from Lebanon as Lebanese embassy opens book of condolence in Accra. 2 health workers suspended over alleged sale of PPE in Ridge Hospital. 13 riotous students to write exam under Guardian escort. On the front page of the Chronicle, Sogakope murder kingpin arrested. New register vindicates us, says MPP. NDC, PDS collected 1.5 billion Ghana cedis, but money not accounted for. Don't trust Mahama, he will collapse. Free SHS, says Nana B. On the front page of the New Crusading Guide, Boeing Microfinance fights BOG over seizure of assets. MPP will increase votes in December election. Kwesi Akua predicts. MPP to launch 2020 manifesto on August 22nd. Pamabuckle Lord's St. Carol School of Nursing advocates health workers award scheme. All right. Let's do some online stories. And on citynewsroom.com, we have Mahama's tag as former president will help him in 2020 polls. Nana Akufo-Addo will retire Mahama in 2020 polls, says Evans Nimako. Mahama's airport for sale claim factually inaccurate. This is coming from the Ghana Airports Company Limited. Whichever party wins power must ensure free tertiary education. This is from Ayariga. Minority wants payments made to customers of collapsed banks, others audited. And we have on citybusinessnews.com, prices of foodstuff to go down this month. This is Isoko Ghana's prediction. Fiscal discipline required to stabilize economy. This is coming from the IFS. COVID-19 interventions must be targeted, not free for all, says economist. Free water and electricity may be counterproductive, says another economist. 1D1F, Akumfi Juice, Casa de Ropa to pick up after COVID-19 slowed down production. And on my Joy Online, we have Akufo-Addo has no intentions to prosecute perpetrators of PDS fraud. This is coming from Sami Jemfi. And on BBC.com, Africa Live, envoys failed to meet opposition over Zimbabwe crisis. All right, so for more news, kindly visit citynewsroom.com. And for more business news, kindly visit citybusinessnews.com. All right, so my guests are seated in studio, and let me introduce them to you quickly. I have to my left Andrew Mercer, Honorable Andrew Mercer, who is the MP of Sakyi. Good morning, sir.
Morning.
How are you doing?
I'm well, by His grace.
Fantastic. It's good. I'm good. I'm
Great,
really good.
great.
Yeah,
Good to see you again.
It's good to have you here.
Morning to Adam as well, and to our cherished dad.
So, my other guest is Edem Abana, who is the Deputy National Youth Organizer of the NDC. Good morning, Edem.
Good morning.
It's been a minute.
Yes.
How are you doing?
Doing great.
Okay.
Been out there monitoring the just ended registration exercise. And fairly, I think that has gone on very well. Except a few centers where Andrew Mercer's people decided to use the military to intimidate potential voters from registry. But I'm sure we'll go into that discussion sometime later.
All right.
You know, David, I was just thinking about something. This so-called allegation that the government deployed military to intimidate people.
Yeah.
Let's just even discount the factual situation of these militarymen having been deployed to the border towns, essentially to enforce the closure of the borders.
Yeah.
You recall in the run-up to the registration exercise, the threats of mayhem, chaos that the NDC threatened. You recall?
I recall some
and so,
things.
Would it not be wise for a government to deploy military and police personnel to ensure that any such attempt to disrupt the peace was quelled?
So basically, you were.
I'm asking. I've told you the factual basis for the deployment.
Okay.
But even if we discount that,
okay,
yet listen to them and relate that to the actual numbers of people who voted or who registered to potentially vote in December. And let them tell the good people of this country where their allegation of voter suppression was coming from.
Okay.
That then led to a whole former president
I'm sure we'll get
seeking to incite hatred in this our beloved country of ours.
All right, I'm sure we'll get into that conversation in just not too long from now. Okay, but let's begin by having a conversation.
Milder subject, I suppose.
Dismissed, yes.
With a milder subject.
Well, we'll begin by discussing the dismissed WASI candidates. Let me read that story for you. It's on the citynewsroom.com. We have a GES reviews sanctions on 13 dismissed WASI candidates after Akua-Addo's intervention. All right, so the story here, it says, the Ghana Education Service has reviewed its decision to bar 13 dismissed students from partaking in the ongoing West African Senior School Certificate examination at their current centers. The students who have been dismissed from school for varying acts of indiscipline can now continue to write their exams in their schools. Some had taken part in a violent action in protest of strict invigilation during the examination, and others had insulted the president on camera. The public relations officer of GES, Cassandra Chum Ampofo, explained this was after a meeting that followed President Akua-Addo's urge to the GES for some flexibility in the sanctions. The president in a statement said, the dismissal alone was enough punishment. The minister, and I quote here, the minister had a meeting with the management of GES today, that is August 10th, 2020, to review the sanctions imposed on the students who misconducted themselves, and we decided that now the students will be allowed to write the WASI in their respective schools, Mrs. Ampofo said. The students will now be able to return to the schools under guardian escort, on the days that they have papers, and immediately after the paper, they also leave with their guardian, she added. All other sanctions against the students remain in place. Aside from the dismissal, all students who are in schools where destruction of school property occurred are to be surcharged for the full cost of the damage. The results of these students will be withheld until they have fully paid up the full cost of the items that were destroyed. Additionally, 3 teachers have also been interdicted and barred from invigilating pending conclusion of the probe to ascertain their culpability for their roles in the alleged activities as they are further being referred to the security agencies for further investigation. All right, let me come to you, Andrew. Your comments on the happening so far regarding this matter.
Well, you know, when I was in Addis Ababa, mate of mine was on the verge of the A-levels, caught smoking a cigarette. And of course, that in itself was outside school during school hours.
Okay.
That in itself was breach of school rules. So necessarily, required an outright dismissal.
Okay.
Thankfully, he had registered for the GCA level and he was allowed to write his exams. Today he's a top architect in the USA. So if you relate that and think of what would have happened to him potentially if he had not been allowed to write his exams, you cannot begin to imagine the waste potentially that mishap on the part of an overzealous, if you like, young man would have resulted in impacted his future. So following the recent incident and monitoring social media, I wasn't surprised at all that His Excellency the President indicated to the Ghana Education Service to take a second look at the extent of the punishment and allow them to write their exams at the very least. But of course, all the other sanctions, including the payment for the damaged property, ought to stand. Thankfully, yesterday, the Ghana Education Service and the Ministry of Education met and considered the proposal or the directive from His Excellency the President and have varied the punishment such that these young men would be allowed to write their exams. You see, and that in itself is good, if you ask me, particularly with the experience that I've had with my friend in the past.
But your friend's case is quite different.
No, I was coming there. No,
okay.
The laws are the laws. When you breach the rule, regardless of the quantum or the degree, you're still in breach of the rules. You're in breach of the rules. It's unfortunate that young men of today, and I wouldn't even limit it, because during our days, there were times that students went on rampage demonstrations, destroyed school property. I recall one time when I was in lower 6, there was an attempt by some of those in upper 6 to set ablaze the school's main transformer in a demonstration. Thankfully, the petrol bomb that they threw did not ignite, and so that's probably what saved the school at the time. But those activities obviously cannot be entertained. It cannot be that because you were assisted to enable you revise with past questions, which we all used to rely on when we were writing our GCO and A-level examinations. Because that then sits with the reading that you've done in context to guide you in how the questions are asked, and so help you and your mates discuss and see how, if a question of that nature appears in the exam, you'll be able to, as it were, deal with them.
Yeah.
To say that you expected those specific questions to be the ones that appeared on the exam paper, and so if those questions do not appear, you will go on the rampage. I think that the sanctions that have been imposed meet the crime or the offenses that they committed. Their parents ought to be made to pay for the property that they damaged, because their future necessarily ought not be impacted. Of course, they've been dismissed from the school, which in itself has dire consequences, because I'm not sure that when they go for their testimonials, which are essential, due diligence documents that any employer will require, would indicate that this young man, when he was in school. So this is something that will scar them for potentially the rest of their lives. But obviously, their forward march and progress educationally, by the gracious intervention of His Excellency the President, will not, be jeopardized. Unfortunately, I have seen on social media an attempt to equate the intervention by His Excellency the President in asking Ghana Education Service to review their sanctions with what President Mahama did with Muntie 3. I was shocked. So do we have to play politics with everything?
But this is the right season, right? That's what.
No, I didn't say we don't have to play politics with some things. I asked everything. Because it's important. Can you begin to even, just as you said that the distinction between what my friend did and what these young men did is completely different. I agree. Can you even begin to compare what these young men did with what Muntie people did? To the point where a court of competent jurisdiction imposed custodial sentences on them, that ministers of state lined up and blocked, including the current vice presidential running mate of Mr. Mahama, the former president. The threat of rape, the denigrating of our beautiful women, to ask that he be pardoned. Because they were serving their political interest on the media house. Was that not the only basis for their lining up to sign the petition for Mr. Mahama, then former president, then president, to release the Muntie 3? Was that not the only reason?
No,
because many people are, but do you know how many people have committed offenses and are in prison? That yes, regularly the president exercises his power to pardon some of them. This was specific.
Okay.
So please, Adam, advise your boys. The politics we will play. But do we have to do it with every subject matter?
All right. Well, Adam,
David,
let me come to you on this one. So, as for dismissal, they've been dismissed. They will be permitted to write their papers and move on. But even the writing their papers is under escort of their guardians. So I suppose if you don't have a guardian, then you're not writing. You know. But is it a stiff enough punishment? For me, honestly, I disagree with Andrew a little bit, because I feel that sometimes the decisions we take tend to give people space to say, maybe when it's my turn, I can get away with it. You know, I don't know what your thoughts are regarding everything you said so far.
Well, David, this issue of the WASI candidates and their protests, their rioting, vandalizing school properties, their reaction to the rumors that APOS or past questions did not come in the examination, and their anger and all of that. As a matter of principle, I maintain that the violence nature or the vandalizing of school properties must be condemned by all. But I am not happy that in all of these discussions, we have all failed to touch on the root cause of why the students decided to embark on that journey. Again, I condemn the violence, I condemn how they reacted, but it is also important for us to properly situate the discussion in that perspective, the context.
What's the root cause?
Now, this is not the first time. I'll be glad if you allow me to give you
to develop your
chronicle, yes, how the events have been. This is not the first time that we are writing WASI in Ghana. We all wrote WASI. In fact, even before WASI, there was SSC. Even before then, people wrote A-level, O-level, and what have you. But why are we all of a sudden seeing that after an examination, there is a widespread rioting by students? What has happened?
When you say widespread, what do you mean?
No, widespread because it didn't happen in only one institution.
Yeah, it's just how many institutions? It's not 3 institutions.
It's not just about 3 institutions. We all saw what has happened in the other institutions. Apart from those who even vandalized properties, there were others who recorded videos insulting the president. There were others who recorded videos cursing the president and the government and all of that. Like I said, those actions must be condemned. But it's also important to focus on the root cause. And how did we arrive here? That's the question that we ought to answer. We got here because, one, for the first time in the history of our educational system, we have a government or a president who is so petty that he decided to personalize the graduates. Under President Rawlings, there were candidates, but we never called them Rawlings' candidate, but there were lots of interventions in secondary school under President Rawlings. Under President Kufuor, we never called them Kufuor graduates. Under Mills, we never called them Mills graduates, Mahama graduates, what have you. But when you have a president coming out to address the nation and decide to personalize final year students and calling them Akufo-Addo graduates,
but
then we should have told them, I'm getting there.
He made that as some people called them
Some people call President Akufo-Addo as a tyrant. Why hasn't he ever come out to say or accepted that he's a tyrant? Some people say President Akufo-Addo is corrupt. His family and friends, he's nepotistic. Why hasn't it ever come to re-echo those tags? It is because he accepted it and wanted to re-echo it for the acceptance of the entire nation. That is why he decided to say some people call them Akufo-Addo graduates. So it is also important. I mean, I have even heard people say that if we want to be trivial,
but then your assertion,
if we want to be, I'm developing the point.
Is false.
No, it's not false.
Because you are saying that
you should allow me, though, you see, David. So for the first time, we even have a president who is so petty that he decided to personalize the graduates. So he should even be taking responsibility for these. They are indisciplined.
I don't understand your argument.
Secondly, no, you see, it's because you are not giving me the space to develop my point. You keep interjecting. That is why. Now, secondly, you have a president who, for the first time in the history of this country, addressed these students and told them that go and study past questions, because instead of buying them textbooks, this government invested heavily in past questions. So the students were living with the false impression that between 2013 and 2018 past questions, this is where their questions are going to be coming from. So the students don't forget that they are the most ill-prepared batch, not just because of the COVID-19, but also because of double track. Lecture to student or teacher to student hours, contact hours reduced drastically. So you have a situation where already these students were not prepared. They are writing these exams in the midst of a major pandemic, a pandemic like COVID-19, and it's already, their psyche was already affected. Then the president invested in past questions. Huge amounts of monies were invested in past questions. Teachers were brought into campuses like University of Ghana. They were taught they were given chief examiners reports, they were given past questions, and they were supposed to tailor guide the students. And the students believe, we have junior brothers and sisters in the schools. They were meant to believe that their focus must be on this past questions.
Which school is your junior brother and sister at?
I have a junior sister in Achimota. I have a junior sister in Motown. You can cross-check. So the students have been made to believe that they are only supposed to go and study some past questions and go and write the examination. And the president, in an address to one of the schools, actually said it, that go and study past questions. Again, President Akufo-Addo was so petty that he told them that go and study, pass the exams, and then shame the critics. Who are the critics? For the first time, you are telling the students that their passing of the exams should not even be about their own future, should not be even about proving that we have quality in our educational system, but to shame critics. Who are the critics? You see, when you look at the trajectory and how these students have been handled, they went into the examination with a sense of entitlement, and they made it appear as if the entire free SHS program, the entire secondary school education was all about passing an examination. And indeed, there were attempts to leak questions. We shared questions, we saw questions on social media, codes were given, and then when there was a whole lot of brouhaha about those questions, probably some of them were changed. When they got there, they got disappointed. You should ask yourself why the students got so disappointed that they decided to react this way. It is because of these actions. So you see, I'm not justifying what they did, but it's also important to say that the government cannot be absolved from the blame.
Your premise for suggesting that probably questions were leaked and so some questions were changed and all of that. I find it, I'm not sure what to make of it, because WASI is not a Ghanaian exam.
David.
WASI is an international exam written across the entire region of West
David,
Africa.
David, we've all written exams, we've all written WASI.
And
this is not the first time. This is not the first time. This is not the first time there are issues about leakage of examination.
Yes, fair enough, but you are suggesting
but I'm suggesting that you see. So I'm saying that no, you see, it's because you were in a hurry to challenge my assertion. You didn't even pay attention, David. This is what I'm saying.
I'm paying attention to everything you're saying.
So I'm saying that you have teachers brought for a workshop and confirmed from your teachers in the senior high schools. They were given past questions. Government invested heavily in the past questions.
I know all of that.
And they were informed. And the president actually is on record to have told the students that just study your past questions and you'll be okay, you will pass. So these students went into the examination hall with a certain perception, with a sense of entitlement, with a belief that indeed just by solving the past questions that they've been handed over to, they were going to pass. And that is why when they went there and they didn't get all of that, some of them were seen on video, even bending the past questions and saying that the president has disappointed them. The president lied to them. So
Adam, I'll have you come back on this after a short break. We need to take a short break. We'll call. So please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Adam will continue his submission when we get back.
Precision, style, class, execution, talent. Congratulations to the top 20 contestants that made it to the main audition for Keyboard Idol. The question is, which of these 20 talents will be in the top 10 and ultimately become the Keyboard Idol? Catch the Keyboard Idol every Saturday at 7 p.m. only on Citi TV. Tune in to Citi TV and follow the conversation using the hashtag Keyboard Idol for updates or visit CitiTVOnline.com. This amazing talent competition is sponsored by Asanka, powered by Tech Aid, and Santol Energy. Keyboard Idol is powered by Citi TV. The quest to find a keyboard superstar starts now.
Welcome back from that break. Remember, the show is interactive, so kindly use the hashtag Breakfast Daily. If you're watching by Facebook, comment on the stream below. And my guests are in studio. I have Andrew Mercer, Honorable Andrew Mercer, MP of 2nd D, and also Adam Agwana, who is the Deputy National Youth Organizer for the NDC. He was making a submission before we went for a short break. I'll have him continue. So Adam, you were saying.
So fortunately, even during the break, I'm receiving messages from teachers in secondary schools saying that after the supposed leaked papers were cancelled, for the first time in writing exams, the new questions arrived very late. So they started hours after they were scheduled to start. And you can confirm that. Let your production crew confirm. It has never happened that you were supposed to start a WASI paper at 9 a.m., then you start around 11. It confirms all of these tragedies. You see, we are here today because President Akua and the NPP believes that they wanted to make political capital out of these WASI candidates. And that is why the president consistently, he has been so consistent with it that anytime he has the opportunity to talk to these students, he tries to create an impression that you are so personal to me, you are my graduate. When you pass, your passing means...
Is there anything wrong with that?
There's everything. There's everything wrong with it. There is everything wrong with it. That you create an impression to them that when you pass the examination, then your critics, those who didn't believe in free SHS from the beginning, will be ashamed and all of that.
But that's his flagship. That's his flagship policy anyway.
You see,
so
the essence
I don't understand your argument.
The essence of education, the essence of our education is not only to pass examination, but is to impact knowledge. and discipline. And in fact, what they have done, this in quotes, the indisciplined students have done, shows even the quality of education or training that they have received within the period. My point is that if you have implemented a flagship program like the free SHS, it is okay to take the credit. It is okay to take the credit for courageously implementing such a policy. But an attempt to personalize the education such that you want to forcefully ensure that you have high recorded numbers of passing. So you started by, instead of investing in textbooks, you invested only in past questions. You brought teachers for capacity building, and for the first time, teachers were taught. And you see, let the production crew call maths, English, social studies, and science teachers in the various secondary schools, and they will confirm. So they were camped in university campuses during their vacation, the long vacation, giving past questions, giving chief examiners report. And you see, the whole training and capacity building was on how to train the candidates to go and pass the examination.
But the use of the chief examiner's report is not a new thing. I mean, I don't understand what your argument is.
My argument is that all of us, when we're in secondary school, we bypass questions on our own to guide our own studies. But in this case, government invested in the past questions and gave the students an impression. You see, it is important for you to even go to the students, to the candidates. And they told them that, and the president even said it on record, that just go and study the past questions and you will pass the examination.
Okay, wait, hold on.
The past question is not a curriculum.
Hold on. So you're saying that the president's giving of the students the impression that the past questions is their salvation in terms of the exam is your issue.
So when they got there and they got disappointed, they have every reason to get angry. It is the extent to which they express their anger that some of us disagreed with.
Do you have any problem with the use of past questions?
Like I said, I do not have a problem with the use of past questions, but past questions are personal initiatives to guide your own studies. Yes. But in this case, you were given past questions and told that, no, you see, when you go to a school, you have a curriculum. The curriculum gives you the entire coverage of what you're supposed to learn within the period. In this case, the students were not given textbooks to study. I mean, because when you go to school, it's not everything you learn that counts in an exam, but those things are important. But in this case, you were given past questions, and they were programmed to believe that the exams was going to be based on that past question. What it means is that
if they're not given
it is possible to
giving past questions. How do they study to answer the past questions?
Does the past questions contain everything in the textbook? Look, when you go into an examination,
you said they were not given textbooks.
Yes, they were given past questions.
How did they study to answer the past question?
David, even when you check a past question that asks you, let's say, list 5 media houses in Ghana, you don't need to check that in a textbook. Sometimes you can even just Google. But the textbook gives you, look, sometimes you can even have a topic that will take you days to study, but you will go there, only a single question comes from it. So you will finish WASI, you may even have, say, the best of grades, but if you, some people pass exams, but things that did not even come in the exam, it doesn't matter to them.
Okay.
What my point is that the students are behaving this way because they were promised, they were programmed to believe that the past questions was their salvation.
Okay.
They got there, they got disappointed.
Thank you.
Questions were changed and they are routing. The president must equally share in the blame of these indisciplined students.
Okay, all right. A rebuttal quickly.
And then you are changing, and it's not good for your image.
Please, you have 2 minutes to do that.
You see,
just rebut.
In the first place, it's gratifying to hear that your sister is enjoying this government initiative from His Excellency Nana Addo Akua. Now, it is not the case that these students were ill prepared because of double track. Because, in fact, the first cohorts of free SHS are not on double track. Are they? It's the second and third cohorts that are on double track. This first batch are not on double track.
That's not true.
Oh, why? When free SHS was introduced, did they come with double track? It was the second year that came with double track. And the double track impacted only the first years. And then subsequently, when they went to second year, those who came to first year. So it's only second year and first years who are on double track. These people are not. So, you see, thirdly, the SHS program is a 3-year program. So is it suggesting to the good people of Ghana that right from year 1, these young men were given not textbooks, but past questions. And that they've been in school for 3 years studying past questions.
That's what I was trying to find out from him.
But so that's why I said, well, maybe personalizing it with you, fair to want to object. But if you look at the attempt with which the NDC is going, the extent to bastardize this program, everything points to a party that was looking forward to these people failing. They don't care about whether they are Ghanaian children.
Is that a fair statement?
Oh, but that's exactly what they've done. Look,
when our children are there.
You see, he says that students are behaving this way because of the promise that His Excellency Nana Akua gave.
He says it's giving them a sense of entitlement.
A sense of entitlement. Yeah. How many students are we talking about in this case?
13.
13. Out of 300 and what? In excess of 300 students are writing the exams. All of them don't have a sense of entitlement except 13.
Okay,
and that's the basis for the assertion that the NDC will make.
Please wrap up for us.
You see, this is a political party that organized in the first instance demonstrations. Put people on the street to sing free education 419. When that failed, they mobilized resources to place adverts in excess of 40 in the media house to condemn free SHS. When that failed, they put their political appointees on platforms to call free SHS all lie be lie. Former President Mahama personally has bastardized this program, consistent with his nature, realizing that the good people of this country have received this policy wholeheartedly. It's now turning around to trick them into making them believe. The man who told us that he had better uses for the resources of this country and that trainees, teacher and nursing trainees, can go to hell for all he cares. He would deploy the resources of this country for better use. Today, he's turning around to tell us that when he's given an opportunity after going home and learning his mistakes, when he comes back, would retain the policies that His Excellency did not have. Ghanaians will know you for who you are. These people, the greater majority, like L exams, will pass, and then you will be shamed. And this, the people of this country will see your party for their true colors.
Let's move on. Let's move on. Okay, so the next story we want to discuss a couple of things. Well, let me read the stories to you first, and then we'll situate it and have the conversation. Akua will not endanger Ghana's peace. Mind you, as we're reading the stories, we're looking at election 2020. Akua will not endanger Ghana's peace. Ignore Mahama's claims. This is coming from John Boydu. Let me just quickly read that. The General Secretary of the governing New Patriotic Party, John Boydu, says the President, Akua, will not do anything to endanger the peace of the country. He thus urged Ghanaians to ignore the contrary claims by the flag bearer of the opposition NDC, John Dramani Mahama. The NDC flag bearer for the 2020 presidential poll said the Akua government has put Ghana on a slippery slope of chaos. Mr. Mahama, in an interview with Wezo TV on August 9th, 2020, said some of the comments by leading members of the Akua government and the deployment of the military to some border communities smacked of deliberate attempts to divide the country. The way things are going, we see vigilantes, thugs, and intimidation and harassment. We are on a slippery slope towards chaos, and we need to arrest that. We will bring things back, we will bring things to normal. Never before have I witnessed a situation where we have become so disunited. In all governments I have seen, every leadership makes effort to bring us together. Unfortunately, I see signs of cracks in the unity and oneness of our nation. It looks like this current administration is deliberately fueling that. Utterances of some of the leading members of the ruling party have been most unfortunate, says John Mahama. So John Boydu rejects claims. But addressing a press conference organized by NPP today, that's Monday, August 10th, John Boydu said Akua has been instrumental in maintaining peace and tranquility in this country, including Dagbon. Since he came to office, he will be the last to want to disturb the peace that he's enjoying. We must therefore completely and totally reject Mohammed's hate for votes campaign and look for the real facts. Let me just quickly read a couple of paragraphs from another story here. This is coming from the Chronicle, and it says NDC PDS collected 1.5 billion Ghana cedis, but money not accounted for. The opposition National Democratic Congress has disclosed that the erstwhile Power Distribution Services, which took over the assets and operations of the Electricity Company of Ghana between March 1st, 2019 and 18th October 2019, collected a whopping 1.5 billion Ghana cedis from electricity consumers in the form of bills. However, the NDC explained that till date, the MPP government, led by President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has not been able to bring to book persons who perpetrated what government itself alleges to be fraud on the people of Ghana, saying that they had all been left off the hook. All right, let me get back. Let's have the conversation already. Let me start with Adam. Adam. So
which one are we focusing on? The PDS or the press conference by John Boyd? Because
both of them.
Stories.
Both of them.
Let me start with the press conference by the NPP yesterday.
Okay.
In response to what they claim was attempt by the NDC to incite some hatred for particular tribes or ethnic groups and all of those things. And I must say that it appears the NPP General Secretary or the entire leadership of the NPP are not in tune with realities on the ground, and they are pretending not to know what is happening. Their press conference yesterday, in response to what His Excellency President Mahama said, clearly shows that they have absolutely no respect for the people of Ghana. It is not as if President Mahama came from nowhere to make these statements. Even here on Citi TV, I have watched videos of happenings across the country. I have on my phone, and in fact, last weekend, your sister stations played, I'm not sure whether your station played, of the assembly member for Bui electoral area. The gentleman in the video, with which he recorded himself, cried out for help. According to him, military men in uniform in Banda, came round, made attempts to stop everybody who had an ever name or whose name shows that a person comes from the Volta region to prevent them from registering. The chiefs of Banda, and these are not Evers, these are not NDC politicians, the chiefs of Banda actually also spoke. They addressed the press conference on the same matter. They even gave a historical background to the fact that the people of the Volta region or the Ever community in Banda have lived with them from 1919. They have taken part in everything that they do. In fact, when you go to the Banda Traditional Council today, they have a chief representing the Evers. They call him Togri Tata. But all of a sudden, these people who voted 92, 96, 2000, 2004, 2008, 2012, 2016, all of a sudden, under a certain President Akufo-Addo, a supposed human rights activist, they have made frantic efforts to prevent them from registering, telling them that they are not Ghanaians. Even when the chiefs themselves were ready to guarantee, even when some of these people, many of them even had a Ghana card. I was in Banda myself. There was a delegation led from Parliament by the Honorable Emmanuel Bejira, MP for Who West, who went there, right in front of us. More than 200 armed military men, and I can start by showing you the videos. Your sister station showed it. They had mounted roadblocks. Because when you know the area very well, Banda, Bongasi, and all of those places, you realize that the Ever community
are mainly people by the water, by the river, because they are predominantly fishermen. The MCE there, the district assembly goes to them, they pay tolls, they take whatever, taxes that they pay as workers, as commercial people. Now, for the first time, there was an attempt to prevent them from registering. And indeed, if you cross-check from the Electoral Commission's record, more than 500 of them were challenged. Okay. That is the area with the highest challenge. So, if you talk about military deployment, and the president hypocritically mounted platform to say he was not aware, even when TV stations were showing, he as commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces was not aware that military men were deployed to communities like that. In fact, in one of the videos, I was there. A military man pointed a gun at us and told us that if we don't stop complaining, he was going to shoot, and I dared him to shoot. What is happening? We ought to be speaking truth to power. President Akua is on a certain trajectory to divide this nation. And if we don't stop him, and you see, when I watched that video of the assemblyman of Bui, elected assemblyman of Bui traditional electoral area, he went further to say that he knows for a fact that the civil wars that we have seen in Rwanda, that we have seen in Sierra Leone and other places, in fact, he cited those examples and said, this is how it started. When he was speaking, the people were behind him. Are these people NDC politicians? Are these people President Muhammad that mobilized them to do all that?
Let's move to the
I think that it is important for us, all of us, that when it comes to issues of peace and oneness as a country, we unite to speak truth to power. President Akufo-Addo should stop his divisive tendencies. He has shown by how he's conducted himself, even in this exercise, that he's a very divisive leader. By the commentary, utterances of senior members of the MPP, including Katie Hammond, we have seen the agenda against a specific set of people. Now on PDS, I think that
you have a minute.
It's been a minute is not enough, especially when my brother. My brother Honorable Japamesa is also a stakeholder in the PDS.
We don't have unlimited.
So let me just go. You see, on this issue of PDS, it's been over a year. We were told, in fact, the first statement that came from the Minister for Information, cancelling or announcing that there was a cancellation, they alleged fraud. We didn't allege fraud. Now, if you say that you are alleging that there was fraudulent misrepresentation or presentation of documents, and you say some guarantees and some conditions were not met, that conditions precedents were changed to condition consequent and all of that, and the deal was cancelled. Ghana has lost huge sums of money, over 1.5 billion till today. Nobody has been sanctioned, nobody has been punished, and all of that. The impression is that you can commit crime, you can steal resources of this nation and just be allowed to walk scot-free. Why? Because family and friends of the president are deeply rooted in this scandal. 1 minute is not enough, but let me go into it. If you know what had happened with PDS, of which my brother, as a stakeholder, can speak to, clearly, in simple terms, what happened is that we decided to sell a national property.
We know the background.
We know the background. We are saying, in summary, we are saying that the families and friends, the key actors of PDS that have failed to account for the 1.5 billion, but President Akufo-Addo is shielding them. They are still walking about as free men. When we have the opportunity to come back to power in 2020, in 2021, we will make sure that we deal with them, because people ought to be paying for their sins.
All right.
1.5 whooping billion dollars, of Ghana's money.
All right, thank you. Yes.
But if President Akufo-Addo terminated a transaction that his family and friends were the beneficiaries, when the United States government had even told the government of Ghana that, Mr. President, give your family and friends, according to the NDC, an opportunity to replace the guarantee, but the president still went ahead to terminate it, then he must have acted in the best interest of Ghana. Unlike the other one who, 8 days before he left upper power on the 29th of December, assigned 60% of our total bauxite deposit at Inaini to his brother.
That is not true.
Indeed.
But you repeat it.
President Obama, why? Estin Cubic is for who? Whose company is Estin Cubic? It's not Mr. Ibrahim Mahama. On the 29th of December 2016, 8 8 days before Mr. Mahama left office, he's assigned 3 leases amounting to 60% of our total bauxite deposits at Inaini to his brother's company. President Obama had an opportunity
focus on the PDS
6 months before he left office to appoint a Supreme Court judge. He did not. So if the transaction was legitimate, why couldn't Mr. Mahama wait for the next president to give the leases to his brother? And so, you see, the point I'm making is this. All this talk about PDS is much ado about nothing. And I invite you, David, because you are a respected media person, take your time, get the documents, they are all available, and then read so you can understand. So when we get Edam Agbana and Sami Jemfie and co, who think that their only message to the people of Ghana is to heap false allegations on others as basis of their campaign message into tricking Ghanaians to vote for them. Look, my Christianity is not helping me this morning because I was going to swear on my father's grave that touch wood perish the thought that these people come back to power. They cannot prosecute one soul. What were the issues? The information minister, who is the official government spokesperson, told the good people of Ghana that, look, we have done this transaction, and following the desire for government to verify certain documentation post the transaction closure date, we have identified that some material breaches have occurred. And so government has suspended the transaction with the view to investigate those material breaches. Is that what happened?
That's what happened.
Unfortunately, and I will say unfortunately, and that's what they are happy on. The energy minister, based on facts that are unknown to me, because as far as I'm concerned, it is only when you investigate a certain breach that you can determine whether fraud has been occasioned or not. Then comes to say that the people procured the documentation through fraudulent means. And that's what the NDC is happy on. To say that if your own Minister of State says that the thing was fraud, then prosecute people. But are those the facts? The fact that a minister misspeaks on a particular subject then makes that misstatement factual? Is that it? So then you set your own questions based on a false premise and invite all of us to debate it. You are a credible opposition. They accuse Ken Ofori-Atta of cooking up a deal for his friends. Indeed, they thought that Franklin Templeton, which is an institution, was a human being. They petitioned the Securities and Exchange Commission in America. To date, even if they went with a canoe, they would have been back. This is your opposition. Look, take your time. Indeed, you see, ECG, they submit annual reports to Parliament. What is the basis of the arriving at the 1.5 million? Did they show it to you when you went for their press conference? You see the mistake that the media does sometimes, that doesn't help the discourse. Because you get Sami Jemfie and co sitting there, spewing all sorts of things. And nobody questions them about the source of the assertion that you are making. Because you'll be useful. No, I'm coming.
So debunk it.
So why is it? What? No, but he who asserts must what? Is that not a principle?
But you are saying
that I'm coming. I'm asking you whether they showed you a document.
No, but I'm saying
as
that there's
proof that indeed some 1.5 billion cities that belongs to ECG is missing. They would allege, they won't prove, then I am the one who is supposed to debunk by proving. That principle, where does that work? You ought to hold these people to account.
Okay.
Their only objective is to trick the good people of this country, but they're not going to forget that you put them in darkness for 4-5 years. Yesterday, 2 days ago, I saw an operating table with phone, touchlight. People were conducting surgery in this country. So, you see,
you have 30 seconds.
The issues are very clear. They don't have any message. The PDS transaction is clear. According to the government of Ghana, there were material breaches in the transaction. They were supposed to provide a certain guarantee by a certain date. Post investigation,
So
it was established
people
that
who were involved in the fraud.
say that, which fraud? Which fraud? The NDC claimed fraud, or the factual matter of a material misrepresentation?
Your own minister said it was fraudulent.
Oh, so
that's why I said the Qatar-based company said it was fraudulent.
That's why I said to you, I'm prepared to condemn Mr. Amewu for the statement that he made, and you are invited to ask him.
Then you should organize. Then you should, because you were messaging. Then you should organize the press conference. You should organize the press and condemn him because even the FTI investigative yesterday proved that.
Messages from our viewers. Please, I'm reading messages from our viewers. All right. So, from Taifa says President Akufo-Addo has proven beyond every doubt that he's a father for all. And really cares for the ordinary Ghanaian. His decision to intervene for the suspended final year students by the GS in writing their final exam is a clear indication. William from Taifa says, we haven't seen anything yet. This insubordination is a sign of system failure and undue influence of government in the school management.
13 out of 300.
If you give students an impression that they are untouchable and the passing of the exams is your success as a president, what results do you expect if the students miss their
people don't understand really what the free SHS is about. It's a government scholarship.
No, we are done. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So let me say a big thank you to Honorable Andrew Mensah, who is the MP for Sakyi, and also to Adam Agwana, who is the Deputy National Youth Organizer for the NGC. We're grateful to you for watching this. We're coming back. We're going to be discussing Mask-induced. Dr. Kelvin Owusu is here with us. Don't go anywhere.
There is no promise we cannot keep. There is no commitment we cannot honor. There is no delivery we cannot guarantee. There is only one Bethel Logistics Company Limited, a licensed international freight forwarding and clearing agent, a trusted global brand with an extensive network for the movement of air freight and ocean freight worldwide. We are the trusted name for road freight into Western and Northern Africa. We are fully accredited by Ghana Customs and Excise. We cater for all your freight forwarding, customs clearing and forwarding, cross trades, inland transportation, internal cargo tracking systems, customer freight costing and consultancy, cold chain logistics management, logistics and warehousing, quality inspection, and much more. In Accra, Tema, and Takrady, we are always available to ensure easy movement of cargo countrywide. Call us on 0204 528 900 or 0244 707 859. Email info@bethellogistics.com. Locate us in Accra at North Ridge, adjacent Accra Girls High School, or in Tema at Community 4, or in Takrady on the second floor of the GCB building. Website bethellogistics.com. Bethlog, experts in shipping logistics.
There are those with untold stories, unraveled feats, life-changing stories, and lasting legacies. They tell their stories themselves on footprints.
I didn't hear let him go. I heard come and take him. They took me to another room. There was this muscle man with the cane ready. Got me 12 canes. Then I told myself I won't yield. So I kept my teeth together. Pow, pow. I mean, heavy canes.
Lecturer at KNUST.
Lecturer, very popular lecturer, based in KNUST, being whipped by heart by a soldier who,
Be inspired by their hard work and resilience that led to their outstanding achievements as we trace their footsteps through time.
But I was able to set a record at Apollo.
Wow.
Because Apollo is a place that, it's not only one act.
Yeah, of course.
So when you perform one song, you need to leave for the next act to come. I was able to do 2 songs at a go.
Wow.
Because when I was performing, all of a sudden, about 3 African American girls, they jump on the stage, started to do my songwriting thing with me. Then the whole, hey, everybody, hey. Then when we finished the music, then I said, do you want more? They said, yeah. Then I looked at the face of the promoter. He couldn't do nothing. He said, okay, go ahead. Then I put in the Sumgodu, because my first what I did was this song that you hear, Brent said. That's what I did. After that, I put in the Sumgodu. Man.
So join me, Samuel Atamensa, and my guests every Saturday at 9 a.m. and Sundays at 4 p.m. for Footprints, only on Citi TV.
Footprint is sponsored by Bethel Logistics Company Limited, experts in shipping logistics.
Welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily on Citi TV. Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, today we'll be talking about mask-me. A lot of people are getting acne from wearing the mask, and of course, your favorite doctor, Dr. Kelvin Owusu, Medical Director of Optima Care Diagnostics, is here with us to help us understand exactly what it is and how to treat it. If you have any questions for him, let us know with the hashtag Breakfast Daily and WhatsApp line 0550585832. If you're outside Ghana, the country code is +233. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning, Dziffa.
How are you?
I'm very well, and you?
I'm good. How's COVID treating you?
Well, it's the new normal, so we have to find ways and means to survive. I mean, a lot of online consultation and other things because, physical distancing amongst other things. But all in all, I think there's a lot of positives to pick from COVID. I mean, for one thing, washing hands. You see, washing hands alone can solve a whole lot of problems. And
aside COVID.
Even aside COVID. And so COVID has made us become more particular about what we touch and how we treat our hands. So, I mean, that alone is a big plus for us in the health sector.
Now, let's talk about the mask.
I know, right?
Problems that have come from wearing the mask. Mask-me, what is it?
I was saying that this topic is going to cause a bit of fear and panic, but
oh, no. It won't happen to everybody.
That's true. So basically, mask-me is mask-induced acne. And by now almost everybody knows what acne is. Basically, it's everybody knows pimples.
Yeah.
So pimple is a symptom of acne. So when it's a condition where the hair pore, the hairs that grow on, everybody has hair on their face. Not everybody's own is that visible, or everybody has pores on their face. It allows the skin to breathe and secretions to come out, and so that's why as you go through your day, you get a lot of oil on your skin. All this oil comes from the pore because there are glands in the pore, sebaceous glands and others, and sweat glands that release secretions. So now this pore, it gets clogged with dead cells, and then also with oil or with the sebum. The secretion for the sebaceous gland is called sebum, and so it gets clogged with this sebum, and now there's bacteria inside these secretions. So once it gets clogged, that means that the bacteria is not able to come out, and so they begin to multiply. And then that causes inflammation, and that causes the bump, which we call pimple. So the pimple is a symptom of acne. So almost everybody has had acne at some point, but not everybody's acne becomes so bad that they need treatment. Now what we are seeing now is that because we are wearing masks, it's causing an increase in breakouts.
What's the connection between wearing a mask and breaking out?
Okay, so let's go back to acne itself.
Okay.
What are some of the risk factors, some of the things that trigger acne? One of the most preventable is irritation, touching. So every time you actually touch your face, you introduce infection. And this infection then aggravate your acne.
Because there may be bacteria.
Exactly,
on your hands,
because there's bacteria on your hands, and so you irritate your skin. And when you shave, men know it as razor bumps. It's all related, because when the new hair is growing, it sort of calls on itself and results in the bump. Okay. So now when you're wearing the mask is causing an irritation. As the mask is moving on the face, it's causing friction, which is causing some micro cuts and on the skin, which promotes bacterial infection or easy access of bacteria into the skin. So that's number one. Then number two, the mask is preventing or not preventing, it's reducing the circulation of air in that area. So every time you are talking, every time you are breathing in, there's a lot of warm, humid air in that area.
It's moist.
Exactly, moisture. Which also promotes bacterial growth. So you have the friction, which is causing micro cuts on the skin, and then you have the moisture, the warmness, which is promoting bacterial growth. So two things that promote bacterial growth. So obviously, it's not surprising that we are getting a lot more bumps in that area of the face. So the maskne will be around the area where the mask would cover.
Okay, so like right.
Exactly.
Okay. So for people who have not yet gotten it, we're going to talk about preventative measures. But those who have it, how do they actually treat it and ensure that it won't come back?
So let me just before I forget, let me just first of all let people know that this is no reason to stop wearing mask.
Okay.
It's because the mask is here to serve a very valid, a very, very good purpose.
You rather get an acne than die from COVID.
I mean, that's the simple thing, because if there are people, whether they wear mask or not, there's acne already. Yeah. I mean, it's not the wearing of mask that will cause a terrible breakout that will result in some permanent damage. Obviously, at whichever point we stop wearing the mask, the incidence will go down. So that's the most important thing. But a few things we can do to reduce the incidence would be, and most importantly, to wear the right size of mask. Exactly, especially for those wearing the cloth mask. Okay. You see, because everybody is sort of producing cloth face mask. Some of them are too big, some of them are too small. You know, if it's too big or it's too small, it causes additional irritation because it puts additional pressure on the skin. You know, so it's going to irritate the skin some more. And every time it irritates the skin, there's going to be a cut. You might not. I mean, it's not a cut you see; they are micro cuts because the bacteria themselves you can't even see them. Yeah. You know, so you have to wear the right size of face mask. Very important. Number two, your face mask needs to be cleaned. So you cannot, I mean, and again, we are talking about the cloth face mask. You have to use a fresh face mask every morning.
So we're told that you can actually wash the cloth one and wear it. At what point should you say, okay, I need to get a new one? Because some people have been wearing the same face mask since March and we're in August.
Well, you know, I mean, it's a cloth face mask. You're supposed to treat it just like you treat your clothes. You know, and so if you wear clothing, you wash it, like at some point you notice that the color is not as it's supposed to be. You may notice a tear here, tear there, or for some of them, especially the multiple layered face mask, you notice that one layer, maybe the inside layer, has become too loose and it's got some tears in there. Once you start noticing tears, it's time to throw it away. You know, it's very, very important. You have to throw it away. But when I say you have to use a fresh face mask every morning, I'm not necessarily referring to buying a new face mask every day. You can wash what you have and reuse it, but it has to be washed and dried and possibly ironed, because the process of ironing sort of serves as some kind of disinfection. It's because the iron is hot, and I mean sometimes really, really hot. So when you pass the iron over the face mask, it kills some of the bacteria. It reduces the germs that are in the face mask. So when you now wear it, it's cleaner than having worn one that has not been ironed. So ironing is very, very important when it comes to face masks.
So we should treat the face mask the way we treat our underwear, pretty much.
Pretty much. Pretty much, you have to. So a fresh face mask every morning, really, really important. And you must use a face mask that allows the skin to breathe. So material that is breathable. Cotton, you can't go wrong with cotton. You know, as much as possible, if you can afford to get a cotton face mask, really, really important. Some have also suggested nylon, but I'm not too certain about that one. But cotton, you can't go wrong with cotton. Very, very very breathable material that allows the skin to breathe, and reduces the humidity inside the inside the face mask. Also, you must prevent the face mask from getting wet. It's because already we are trying. There's already enough moisture, enough humidity from you just talking. So you don't want additional moisture in the face mask. So if your face mask should get wet at any point, you have to change it. And wetness could come from sweat. It could come from water physically falling on the face mask. So at any point in time where you notice that your face mask is wet, you have to change it. So you should probably be carrying 2 or 3 face masks in your bag every day, just in case. Very, very important. That is if acne is something that you want to prevent. Makeup for the ladies. Makeup, especially take makeup on the skin where you're going to cover, because the makeup itself might block the pores. And so the pores are already compromised, and then the mask now comes on top of it. You are definitely going to have an issue with acne. And related to that is creams. You don't want to use oil-based creams, because those kind of creams will again block the pores. So you want to use water-based or aqua-based creams on the face, especially the area where the mask is going to cover. So these are some of the things you can do to prevent or reduce the incidence of maskne in these times.
And when you start seeing the acne, what kind of changes should you make before they get to a point where everyone sees it on your face?
Well, see, for most people, the first signs that you see would be the bumps. You know, you notice some pain, and then next thing you see there's a bump. So there's really no time between infection and showing symptoms. So the bumps are what you see first. So when you start seeing these bumps, then you need to, it means that you're probably not doing some of the things I mentioned well. So you should try as much as possible to do that. Also, and I needed to add this, you need to sort of wash your face.
Yes.
How
often should you wash your face?
That's a very interesting question. It's because if you wash your face too much too, you cause it to dry out, and the beauty people will tell you that that's not a good thing. So I'm not going to give specifics in that regard. But then when you take off your mask, try and wash your face as well to reduce, because there's residue. There's the moisture, the bacteria, they are sitting on that part of the face. So as much as possible, try and wash the face so that you can reduce the amount of dirt on the face, amount of bacteria on the face, and all that. And use a good recommended face wash, or just ordinary soap as well would do a good job.
So if you're out of the house all day, let's say 5 a.m. to 10 p.m., if you're changing your mask, can you just use a simple face wipe or baby wipes or something before you put the mask on, or it wouldn't make any difference?
Baby wipes, are very gentle. So yes, baby wipes are useful. They recommend them for removing makeup and things like that. So things that you would use to remove makeup, you can't use them to also clean your face, just to reduce the incidence. It's not going to solve the problem. You see, the thing is, the face mask is here for a purpose, and there is a side effect that we are going to have to live with. So you cannot remove the incidence entirely, but you can minimize it by taking these precautions. And so expect that not everybody will get it, because not everybody is predisposed to acne in the first place. You see, some people get acne because of hormonal imbalance, especially the women. So you notice that
you're about to get on your period.
Exactly.
You break out.
Exactly. Puberty, you get breakouts at puberty. You also get breakouts during menopause. So there are periods in life that are associated with acne. And so if you're at that point, obviously, once you add the mask, you're going to have it's going to be worse. So you can't do much about some of these things. But the ones that you can do something about are what I listed. So try and do that. And, well, we'll have less acne to deal with.
Lastly, should we buy a special medicine for maskne, or we can use maskne, or we can use the soaps and lotions we use for acne to treat it?
So, just like with respect to acne, like I said, everybody has had acne, but not everybody has required treatment. So in the same way, if your maskne is not too severe, just live with it. But if it's really severe and is causing a lot of irritation, a lot of pain, a lot of damage to your skin, obviously you need to seek attention. There are a lot of over-the-counter treatment that you can just walk into the pharmacy and then grab for yourself. Salicylic acid has been recommended by a lot of people for acne in general, and it's over the counter. So if you can find it, get it, and then use it to treat your acne. But most of the situations are self-created. Makeup, use sweat, reusing face masks that are old and dirty. So some of these things can be avoided.
Thank you so much, Dr.
Thank you very much.
It's always an honor to have you join us. We hope you enjoy your day. Where do we follow you on social media?
Well, you can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Kelvin Owusu MD, and then I'll be able to address any of the questions or challenges you might have had.
Thank you very much. Nase Puku is the medical director of Aftermarket Diagnostics. Don't go anywhere. We'll be showing a Nase's expose right after this message.